Welcome to another Raid Shadow Legends video. Hope you guys are having an amazing start of the week. In today's video, guys, we're gonna have a look at Konstantin. He finally got a buff. I think this is the second buff that this champion receives. Correct me if I'm wrong. Void Affinity. I am currently on the test server. That's why I actually have early access to the changes that will be coming in the next update. So this champion, guys, he's not extremely trash, okay? He can put in some numbers. He got a buff. So in today's video, we're gonna see if he's actually much better than he was before. Can we actually start using him in content, or he's still going to be as underwhelming as he was in the past? And what I mean underwhelming, guys, as I mentioned, he's not the most trash champion in the game. He can deal damage. You can definitely use him, especially early game, mid game, even in the end game. It really depends what roster you have, how advanced is your account, how big of a Kraken you are, etc. Personally, on my account, I'm never really using him anywhere, right? But that doesn't mean that a lot of you guys cannot actually use the champion. So after the buff, he will actually have a better chance to land the defense down right here. If Vlad is on the same team, it cannot be resisted, and places an extra hit if the target is under any debuffs, which most likely will be the case, at least in PvE. With the second skill, that's where most of the magic actually happened, because right now he attacks all enemies twice. Each hit will ignore a 15% of the target's defense, so that will be base. Then each hit will ignore an additional 10% of the target's defense for every leech, defense down, or block active skills. So potentially you could land two of these debuffs. Is extremely hard to bring all three to the table in a go and set it up, unless you're bringing in particular champions for it. And you cannot make it happen in Hydra or other content where basically you're going versus bosses, right? So either way, leaving that on the side, you can at least score an additional 20% ignore defense, bringing that up to a total of 35%. If a target is under a leech, defense down, and block active skills simultaneously, each hit will ignore 75% of the target's defense, plus you have the 15 right there, which will take it to 90. You have a Savage set or whatever other masteries you might have as well, and bank 100% ignore defense more or less, which should bring in some serious numbers. Then, of course, moving on to the A3, I'm not really sure what changed here, to be honest. Attacks an enemy before attacking, steals all buffs from the target, and transfers all debuffs from the champion to the target. If Vlad is on the same team, this effect cannot be resisted, and resets the cooldown of this skill if the target is killed. So either way, you can actually steal buffs and basically drop a cleanse on yourself. Pretty nice. The passive seems to be pretty much the same, nothing really changed. What always made him a threat is the fact that he can block revive on a lot of champions. If Vlad is on the same team, he will block revive on everybody. Now, for PvP, it's really hard to fit them both in the same team. So that's kind of like off the menu, in my opinion. Early game, mid game, when you're farming medals and all that, yes, you can do it. But once you start reaching somehow a competitive form of arena, it's going to be really hard to fit both of them in the same team. Even though they're not a bad combo together, to be honest. And you have a higher attack arena aura. Before it was 30, now it's 35% after the changes. So this is my Konstantin right here, guys. I haven't went crazy on the gear, I'll be honest with you. So we have him on a Savage and a crit damage set. I only have a 3-star blessing, so I'm not gaining any additional crit damage from there. I have no relic on him whatsoever because I don't want to inflate the stats with relic and the damage. These are his total stats: 42k HP, 7000 attack, 3.1k defense, full crit rate, 294 crit damage. I haven't went for an accuracy build to land defense down or anything like that with him, right? Masteries, we have the following: offense and support. Yes, I did went on the support tree to gain some extra accuracy. Helm Smasher as tier 6, Ruthless Ambush. We have, of course, Cycle of Violence. All this will increase a bit the damage. Now, let's actually head into a dungeon, see what sort of damage we're going to get with him. Then we're going to try him in Hydra. We're going to go and do a couple of arena battles as well. So if we're going to head over to the Dragon Slayer stage 10. Without a doubt, his damage got increased. Hands down, nobody can complain about that. But the main thing is, how can we fit him in any of the teams? Can his damage be like, wow, so we can actually run him in content instead of other champions or not? His main pro is the fact that he's Void Affinity, so weak hits won't really occur in most cases. So I have a team that will set him up with everything that he needs to reach his full potential. But we're going to do that after. First, we're going to go in just pretty standard. So at the moment, we're going to ignore 15% of the target's defense plus an additional 10% for the defense down that we have on the enemies. Then we have a Savage set, we have Helm Smasher, so that can bring in some decent damage. So we have 156, 104. We haven't killed nobody basically as it is. Most of them are standing. Even the enemy that died just because Soul Rip procced, right? So the damage doesn't look bad on that skill. Now, nothing really got increased on his A3 in terms of like he's gonna do more damage or anything like that. But we have 1.1 million damage, 1186. Now, if we are going to set him up properly this time around, I should make quite a few runs just to kind of like basically reduce some of the RNG that happens. We have Leech on everybody. We have defense down and weaken on everybody. The main thing why I brought in Lydia is for the weaken. We're going to put block active skills on everybody. So we have everything that he needs to ignore 90% of the target's defense with this skill. Right? Plus the Savage, bang. So let's see the numbers now. 196, 217, everybody dead, block, revive. So that's actually pretty damn nice. So his damage, if you can set him up with everything, is good. You're not going to see higher numbers because we killed everybody. So it's not going to show us here everything that exceeded the HP on the enemies. But either way, his damage is pretty solid, I would say, for this this particular content. If you can bring in Leech, defense down, and the block active skills is the hardest thing to bring in my opinion. Or you bring in Vlad, and then the hardest thing is to bring in Leech, because you want to have everything set up from the first go. You don't want to have Vlad take 2 turns in front of Constantine. Of course, you could build Vlad very fast just as a debuffer and have a Constantine much slower to ensure that Vlad is going to take 2 turns in front of Constantine, and then he's going to nuke them down. And like that, you could potentially make a new wave killer strat rather than using Seer or using some other champions that will just melt waves, right? Now, the next thing that I quickly want to try is something that I'm actually really disappointed at, and that is the Hydra clan boss. We're going to go on Brutal, and I'm going to run this team. Basically, I'm going to have everything that I need in this team for him to really shine. We cannot bring in block active skills on the Hydra clan boss, so we're not going to be able to ignore tons and tons of defense. Now, one thing that I do want to state is that we're going to ignore 35% of the target's defense with the A2 when we have Leech and defense down. My Great Hall is maxed on ignore defense. I have Savage. I have Helm Smasher on him. So we're going to be pretty close to ignore all of the target's defense. But not just there, right? So we are Void Affinity. We're not going to gain to get any weak hits or anything like that. Seems like I just messed that up right there. So let me just quickly retry it again, because I used the wrong skill on Lydia. So buff. Let's use this. And now we're going to apply all of the debuffs. Let's put more in here, because why not? Let's give him increased attack. Let's do our provoke. And now we can go in with the AoE. As I always told you before, guys, something is weird. I don't know what. Some of the champions that have very good multipliers, some of the champions that perform really well in killing waves, etc., they deal trash damage in the Hydra clan boss. And it's not because they have AoE skills or anything like that, and you can argue that the Head of Suffering is in here and is reducing the AoE damage, plus the Hydras, the Hydra heads reduce the AoE damage more. Even if they're single target or stuff, some of them just don't perform really well in Hydra. It's something that I cannot explain, and I don't know why it's happening. But either way, his damaging here is just really underwhelming. We barely got 200k. He does have a good build, not the most OP one. We are ignoring a lot of defense. So I'm not very excited to see those numbers from him in the Hydra clan boss. But let me know your thoughts in the comments as well. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try to decapitate as many heads as possible, as fast as possible. So we're going to basically prep everything for a nuke when the heads are decapitated. I really want to take down the head of Suffering as fast as I can too, just to make sure he's not there to decrease any of my damage. The A3 207k hit on the head, not bad to be honest. Maybe I'm supposed to bring in a Turvold as well, just to really smash these Hydra heads. Because like that, I could have gone in single hit, bang bang, put them down to sleep quick, or a stronger nuker. Like this might take a little while, especially to put them all in the head at the same time, you know. Okay, he lost the weaken. He still has the defense down though. So I feel like I will have to do this. My main priority is to kill the head of Suffering, you know. Right now, I'm probably going to take down the head of Rat and the head of Blight by the looks of it. Almost all of them. And I will do this. I will put Leech. At least we have 2 heads as an example. I'm not going to use the AoE just yet. Want to make sure I'm going to have increased attack. I'm going to have defense down on everybody and stuff. So Lydia might have to take a couple of turns. Let's see if we can rotate fast enough to make that happen. Give me some Thermiter, another head down. I don't have decreased speed on all of them, but that's not the biggest problem. Lydia needs to take one more turn, and we're going to be in for a good 3. The problem is that this one might come out, and 2 of them will spawn at the same time. There isn't much that I can do about that, to be honest. So we have this. Please don't spawn just yet. Let me take a turn. Let me take a turn. You have decreased speed. Beautiful. So, I have Leech only on one of them by the looks of it. No, I have Leech on 2 of them, sorry. So, the left and the right. So, we should be ignoring more defense on that. And let's see the numbers are right here. Everybody decapitated. We are at 14.1 million damage. You see what I'm talking about? Not even 1 million damage if you add both of the hits together. So, I'm finding this extremely underwhelming. I really don't know why it's so weak. We have everything in the setup. Everything that we need to push him to his full potential in the Hydra. Yes, a Merciless set would have been better instead of the Savage. To ignore more defense. No blessing on him either. But either way, I'm finding this damage really underwhelming. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. So I just wanted to point this out to show it to you. For whatever reason, I'm really not satisfied with 6.2 million damage. Otorian 8.3, and he barely used the enemy max HP, right? He used it 3 times, I think. And he dealt more damage than Konstantin. So, not looking too good for our buddy here. At least for PvE content, right? Now, if we're gonna go into Arena, it's going to be, as I mentioned, hard to fit both of them in the same team. So let's see what we can actually do. How is it going to work versus Nice, actually? Something that I haven't tried yet. So recently used. I'm going to try to bring them both in the same fight. I don't know how that's going to work out for us, but I guess we're going to find out. So where is my Laza? And Armans to just to be safe, right? We should be faster. We're gonna have the increased attack. I'm very curious how is his A2 going to work versus Nice. I would assume the first hit should really be enough to put him to sleep, to be honest, and block the revive. I don't think his second form can come in play. He shouldn't be doing damage. Okay. So now we are ignoring quite a bit of defense too, right? But it's very hard to fit them both in the same team. It's pretty unrealistic, to be honest. Okay, so we're not killing him because that procs in, but we did hit him with a weak hit because he had reaction. So I'm very curious if we're going to be able to just block the revive on him, you know? Now, if we are kicking Vlad out of here, and let's bring in another Thermitter booster, maybe. Now we should be able to block revive on these champions without using Vlad in the same team, because he hates some of these factions. The Corrupted. He's not a big fan of them, you know? Now, the main thing is, hopefully, we are not going to hit any reaction and stuff like this. So we're going to go double hitter. Let's see. We're going to hit a shield. We have Ursaga in there, Krisk. We don't have immunity, actually. So for the second hit, we're going to have decreased attack from Krisk. Okay, Rotos survived. That might be because of the passive and the shield interaction. He's even like this, though. I feel like, I don't know. I'm not too excited about him. That was a nice hit right there. Absolutely wrecked it. We transferred the debuffs. We stole the shield. So that's nice. But I'm not too impressed even after the buff, personally. Now, I'm not saying that you guys cannot use the champion. I'm not saying you should sleep on the champion if you don't really have a lot of better options. For PvE content, Thor is absolutely smashing it, so you cannot compare them. Thor is so much better than him. But for PvP, even for PvP, actually, Thor can be pretty nasty, especially with that ignore block damage and stuff. What about a different type of team? Let's see. Even if we go versus this one, maybe. So let's take that out. And maybe we should bring in Sifi, just to give us a bit of protection. So we're going to quickly buff. Give me your Thermitter. Let me just take your Thermitter once again there. Polymorph that one. Remove that from UDK. No debuffs or any funky things. Can we kill the Duchess? Again, AoE damage reduction and all that from her passive. But I still find that damage weak, man. Like, I don't know. I'm not super excited. So I feel like Plarium still needs to do a bit of work. I feel like he still needs to get a better buff. Let me know what you guys think about that part. Okay, Vlad, Konstantin, come on. Constantine. Now, in PvE, with everything set up, is amazing. He's gonna deal crazy damage if you can set up everything. But I always hated when the champions are super conditional. Nice block revive on that is good. So you can definitely use him versus some specific champions, at least to block the revive and stuff like that. But as I mentioned, being conditional and all that is never really good in my opinion. And considering that it's pretty hard to bring in defense down, leech, and block active skills at the same time to really make the most out of him, I feel like that really drops some value in my opinion. Okay, we haven't killed Taras with that hit. No way. I don't believe it. Okay, block revive on Duchess. Beautiful. And maybe, just maybe, we're gonna kill Taras now. Let's see. I don't want you to polymorph him. Come on, Konstantin. Can you do it? My god, he cannot do it. He cannot do it. So, hear me out. Plarium, he does need a bit of more work. I am just hoping that they increase the rate on how they're buffing champions, because at this rate, it's going to take forever to buff champions, and then champions like him that just got a buff are going to be on a waiting list for another 2-3 years. As usual, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Much love. Appreciate all of you guys watching, and I will catch you all in the next one. Peace.